Hi, my name is Julie Robinson, and I am one of the Bright Maidens, and I am doing a video blog for my entry on summer reading because it is almost 10 o'clock and I only got home about 20-30 minutes ago, and I cannot write anymore. So I thought that instead of writing something, I would share some of the books that I'm reading and things that I keep up with. The first book is a book called Second Friends, C.S. Lewis and Ronald Knox in Conversation by Milton Walsh. It is published by Ignatius. I'm sure many of you have heard of C.S. Lewis, the great apologist. One that is lesser known and should be more widely read is Ronald Knox. He was a convert from Anglicanism to Catholicism, and he has written some of the greatest tracts on apologetics. He became a priest, and he worked at Oxford, and so did Lewis. And they only met briefly, but Milton Walsh does a really great job of using both their lectures to compare notes and sort of put them into conversation with each other. So that is the first book that I'm reading. The second book is called Thy Will Be Done, and it's by St. Francis de Sales, and it is published by Sophia Press. And it is 58 letters of St. Francis de Sales to various people on various ailments and his advice to them, and it's just really beautiful spiritual words that he gives people for common problems that are still happening today. The next book is called Departed Angels, and for anyone who knows me well, they know that I'm very interested in Jack Kerouac, and I am pursuing doing more research, writing a book on him, and this is a book of his lost art. Kerouac was a great artist, and he always said that if he wasn't a writer, he'd be a painter. So this is just a whole book on lots of his art. He did a lot of religious art. He was raised Catholic, and that's really overlooked by a lot of academics. So this book, while it does not focus on his religious upbringing, it does focus on his art, and his religious art is a huge part of that. The next book is called Surprise by Canon, and it is by Peter Vere and Michael Trueman, and it is really great because it is basically 150 questions on canon law. Canon law really interests me. I think it'd be really cool to be a canon lawyer. I don't know if that's in my cards, but I am definitely studying canon law more since it is the world's longest lived legal system. It is church law. Canon law is church law, and if you ever wonder why people get in trouble and bishops have to use rules like who's going to get excommunicated, which is obviously something that they really avoid doing. This is the type of thing that falls under canon law. We are all subject to canon law as practicing Catholics, and I think canon law, a lot of people would be surprised by how interesting canon law is. So that's my next book. This book is called Without Roots. I just picked it up in the bookstore. It is by the now Pope Benedict, and it is about the West, relativism, and Islam. And it is a very interesting book because I think a lot of people miss out that it's not just relativism that's the problem, but it's that steep decline towards nihilism, where nothing matters and nothing is true. And people really have to watch that, and especially that is a big reason why Islam is picking up so much credibility, is because they are staying true to God, and we have a lot to learn from Islam while still holding true to our Catholic roots and values. And I think Cardinal Ratzinger, who is the now Pope Benedict XVI, did a really amazing job in this book, and it is definitely, it's a slim read, and it is a good read, especially for what's happening in our world and the type of secularism that is creeping in to our culture. Not really creeping, stampeding in. The next two books are fiction. I am a very strong believer that people should read as much prose in terms of fiction and then poetry. I love poetry. So the first one that I'm going to show is The Two Towers, which, if you remember from earlier blogs, I just finished The Fellowship of the Ring, so I listened to this in my car. And The Two Towers is the second of the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings was the first book by J.R.R. Tolkien. And then the last one is The End of the Affair by Greene. Has a lovely cover. I started reading Travels with my aunt over vacation, and my dad took it, and he has not given it back to me because he said it is such a good book. So, as a side note, Travels with my aunt, but I'm going to be reading soon End of the Affair. Greene is a fantastic English writer, 20th century, true wit, true talent, and Catholic convert. So this has been my series of Bright Maidens for the topic summer reading. I hope you guys get out there and maybe read one of these books and maybe read other books. Important thing is to keep reading. G.K. Chesterton said that it's not just enough to open your mind, you have to close it on something substantial. So I hope you're all doing that by reading, and God bless.